Is that recording? Yeah. Hello team. Welcome to this video where we'll have a bit of a deep dive into the Merlin, and later on we'll take a look at the Kite over there. So I've had a few requests because there's plenty of videos online of this sort of flying and at a distance, but not much about the details of why it's the shape it is. What's inside, etc. So I hope to address that in this video, and I'll try not to waffle. I'm trying to do this in one hit because the laptop with my video editing software is not available at the moment. So what could possibly go wrong? So let's just see how we get on then. So this is the 4-motor version, obviously, of the Merlin. The first one was 3-motor. I had, years ago, I got a batch of these T-motor motors, 4008, 600 kV. I ended up with about 12 or more of them, so basically why not build a plane around these. I started this VTOL project about August last year, and so far we've had about 5 or 6 airframes built. I'm not using any lightweight filaments. They're all 3D printed, of course, and they've been mostly printed in ABS. I tried ASA, which was a total disaster. It's just absolutely terrible layer adhesion. 2 different brands, different settings, couldn't get it to work. This, believe it or not, this is one of the nicest looking prints I've done, and this was some ABS, probably 10 years old. It had been sitting in the bottom of the shed, in a damp shed. I put it in the printer, and I've got the best looking plane from all the expensive filaments. So how does that work? Don't know. But I'm now drying the filaments. So let's take a look inside. The electronic magic sits in the back there, and a battery compartment here. The battery I'm using is a self-made pack. It's 4 S4P 21700s, 18 amp hours, fully charged. It's about 16.2 volts. So 4S, you might be able to guess the problem. Low kV motors, low voltage battery, so everything spins a bit slowly. So you do need some quite big propellers. These are 15-inch, I think, and it might even be a 16 on the back there. The 3-motor version flies very nice in the cruise, very efficient, good glider, but 3 motors of this configuration are just a little bit lacking if you end up with a VTOL landing and it's windy and gusty. You can end up arriving on the ground sooner than you expected. This could be easily fixed. I need to build myself a 5S pack probably, or maybe 6, but 6 doesn't look so good, believe it or not, on eCalc. So a 5S pack, I'll be using smaller props, and I think the 3-motor version will be fine. The 4-motor version in 4S is absolutely smashing, no problems at all, flies very nicely, very economical cruise. It'll easily go over an hour. Probably I can get an hour and a half at let's say 17 meters a second, and it will. This one will go up to about 28 meters a second. I think I can't remember the current draw. All got airspeed indicators. If you're flying a plane this size, please use an airspeed indicator. These are digital. It's just popped on like that, and also the nose comes off completely. There's a couple of side screws there and the nose comes off. Inside here I've got a cadex, a walk snail cadex, and the little stubby antennas out the side there. It can get a bit warm on the ground, so I'm on the flight controller. I've got it coming off the switchable voltage. So basically I've got it on a transmitter switch. So once the plane is ready to go, you've got all the satellites, turn the VTX on, check the goggles, and away you go basically. Yeah, flight controller by the way, Matek H743. Can't say enough about them. Fantastic, got all the outputs you need. They've all been extremely stable apart from the Mark 1 version. I've got one of those that decided not to boot most of the time, and apparently it's a known problem. And can I have my money back please? No. GPS in there. The other bit of trickery, there's a 8.5 amp regulator, which is basically only used for the tilt servos. I wanted a bit more beans to operate these tilt servos. These are Servos, very good. They're kind of half-size ones, so quite impressive that they're working fine, and they're thin, or rather they're a shallow servo. I started off with some Amazon specials. They're meant to be very high torque for RC truck steering. Absolutely useless, super cheap, super useless. You get what you pay for, and they failed. Both of them failed, unfortunately, on the ground. Although, having said that, I was having some issues on the last flight, so I think it was probably playing up. So I'm lucky to get away with that one. There's a 4-in-1 speed controller, 65 amp Teco. This one's running AM32. The AM32 pass-through is a bit flaky at the moment. It's can sometimes take a long time to get the autopilot pass-through working on this. Whereas the BLHeli, that was always bulletproof, spot on, connect that every time. So it's such a shame about the BLHeli, and why don't they make available the last version of the firmware? Come on guys, that wouldn't be too difficult, would it? This is de-riggable. I'm quite pleased with the system that I've got here. There's like a plug in the wing that you push up like that. As you push it up, it slightly pushes the wing out, and then it's an easy job to wiggle a bit and out it comes. The plane's going to try and fall on the floor now. There we go. So just to show you the wing connection there, we've got a RS232 14mm carbon tube. I'm getting out the shot. There we go, 14mm carbon tube. There's a T-bar piece that locks into the plug. In fact, I can take this plug out, can't I? So this has got a slot in it. That goes in there, that pushes down, boink, and so that holds that nicely in place. So the RS232 here, that's got the aileron servo, of course, and it's got the receiver in the bottom there. Oh, by the way, don't get me started. MLRS, bloody fantastic, absolutely fantastic. The amount of time I've messed around with, dare I say, Crossfire and SICK radio. It does sort of work, but honestly, if there's a wind blows in the wrong direction, it decides it's not going to work. MLRS, I do mean MLRS, not LR, whatever it is. So the module goes on the back of your transmitter. It talks via Bluetooth to my Panasonic sort of tough pad thing. You can't see me very well. It probably is best. Whoops. Yeah, and so this MLRS fires up every time. I've not had a problem with it. No connection problems. Very, very good RSSI all the way out to, oh, well, of course I don't go very far. So I'll show you the laptop, the tablet in a minute. Yeah, I can't say enough about MLRS. Don't waste your time with anything else. Endless trouble with Crossfire. I must have had 100 disconnections a couple of years ago, and when it disconnected, it lost the bind. So you had to press all the buttons on the receiver, get it to reconnect. So that certainly taught me to make sure that the return to home and the landing point and rally point, etc., was all set up very well. Good practice that was. The VTOL comes off as well, or at least the two side things slide out. All of the motor connectors are on a quarter turn sort of bayonet thing, so you need to undo one screw, quarter turn, and they will come out. Of course the wires need disconnecting as well. The back ones are the same, quarter turn, out they come. So this one will pack away quite small. It takes a few more minutes to disconnect the bar. There's a couple of screws goes in there, but that will come off. What else to say about this? I think we're nearly done on that one. Let's take a look at the kite. Okay. Wow, I hear you all say, oops. Right, what's this all about then? I decided I wanted something with a payload capable. So this should be able to, even in its 4S configuration, I think it'll take an extra 1.5 kilos, which was the plan really. I thought this was going to balance better. Just sit there. There we go. Yeah. So at the moment, the flying weight with this battery is about 4.1 kilos. I think we could push that to 5.5, perhaps even 6. The wing area is quite a lot bigger than that one, of course. It's just a few millimeters short of a 2-meter span. And of course we've got 4 motors now that are perfectly adapted for lifting. So I should have spoken about the problems of the compromise between the front propellers, a compromise between lifting and propulsion. Of course that was the main problem on the 3-motor version. Of course these, you can select the propeller, perfect for lifting, and you only need one propeller at the back for the propulsion, of course. This one, because of the low kV motor, it's flown in sort of test mode, but I never really intended it to be flying with these low kV motors, not on propulsion anyway. So there's another motor coming in the post, which is 1000 kV, another T motor, and I think that should be able to push it up to 28 meters a second or so. Because it did have a bit of an issue going from Q stabilised to FBWA. It took quite a long time to accelerate, and then if you check back in eCalc, you can see why it's just not really optimised for going forward very fast. So the new motor should fix this. What else is different on this? We've got the same pluggable wing thing. The tail booms disconnect. There's only one screw that's visible on top there. Once that comes out, you can slightly pull the boom forward, and this will disconnect. The inverted V-tail, or I think they call that an A-tail, don't they? It's got a 7mm carbon tube with some threaded doobies in, so there's 2 screws, undo them and the tail comes apart, and when you take the spar out this will also release this back thing from the carbon tube. Same canopy arrangement, although I think in the Mark II version you see this has got like a step thing. I think I might try and arrange it so that it's just straight, so the 2 just join straight like that, because this has been presenting, would you believe it, some problems with the printing, a little bit of warping on this bit because it's printed on support. I did do a quick battery insertion clip on this one, but you know what, I didn't really like it because I like the sort of slight pause to proceedings and a little bit of meditation before you go flying. Screwing this battery down and screwing the canopy in, it just gives you a moment to think if you've forgotten anything, if you've done everything right. What are you going to do if this happens? What are you going to do if a helicopter comes up round the corner or something? So I quite like the fact that screwing these in slowed me down a little bit. This 4-in-1 speed controller was only a 55 amp and it was getting a little bit warm, probably because it's all a little bit heavier. So I fitted a fan in there. I'm not sure if you can see the fan. I put a white stripe on it so I can tell if it's spinning or not. So that is activated from the transmitter via telemetry. It's all a bit complicated, but basically when the telemetry reports more than 30 amps is being used, the transmitter sends a signal on a servo line to turn that fan on, and when it goes below 30 amps it runs for a minute and turns off, and so that's cured the overheating problem. Problem with that could be if you do get a radio disconnect and the plane has a prolonged VTOL arrival, there's going to be nothing to turn this fan on. So if somebody could help me with some Lua script, that would be great, because I'm not very good at that. Let's have a look at the control box where all this is driven from. I think that's oh, this, by the way, this is printed in ABS, but it's a bit of a special ABS. I've always been a fan of Titan X by who's it by now? Titan X, Form Futura. Yeah, Titan X Form Futura, very good, low warping, very good layer adhesion, bit expensive. So this is the box I normally fly with. I've printed sort of labels on the buttons there, so most of my VTOLs all use the same switches. In fact, even the quadcopters use the similar switches, but you can change this 3D printed thing. In fact, yeah, there's another one there for like a different vehicle, so this just slips under the side covers. So that's the MLRS system. It talks via Bluetooth to this thing here. So when it's all fired up and working, I can sit on the bench at the end of the garden. This talks wirelessly. You can monitor the position. Of course, you're visual at all times. I can't think of much else. If you've got any questions, you can pop them down below. Yeah, I think I've run out for the moment. At least I managed to complete the video without the cat screaming at me this time.